And hello, it's Ashley Shantae, and you are in for a treat today. So I am going to go in the house. I was outside a little bit for a little rest and relaxation, but we're going to go in the house and I'm going to fix us some tea, and we are going to sit down for a chit chat. I'm going to give you an update on where we are in our IVF journey, all of the updates that we've had, everything that has transpired up until this point. So all the tea, with the tea, we want to be sipping tea and giving you all the tea. And so if you've been here before, welcome back. Come on in the house with me. Let me know how you like your tea, if you want it with some honey or some sugar. If you're new here, welcome. I'm just detailing my IVF journey and our attempts to try to conceive. And in addition to that, I'm a little lifestyle in between. So come on. So I'm so excited about this. I found this this little place close to where me and hubby went to lunch recently. It's called the Spice and Tea Exchange, and I love me some tea. So I got a couple of flavors. This one is Beauty Rest, spiced chai. I have Lady Grey a la Cream Black Tea. Strawberry Meadows Green Tea. And Elderberry Fortress Herbal Tea. Last but not least, Spiced Ruby Cider Herbal Tea. And I think I'm gonna try, this one is the one I'm most excited about. I love a spicy kind of tea, so let's get this one started. Okay, so we are situated on the couch, and I have some updates for you with regards to my IVF journey. So let me just dive right in on this chit chat. In my last video, I know I had talked about some of the first initial symptoms that side effects. Some of the initial side effects that I was experiencing from the Stims that I was taking. So initially, as a recap, I had some right arm pain. It kind of felt like that sensation that you get when you're working out really hard after not working out at all for a long time, and then you wake up the next morning and you feel sore and stiff and you can barely move. Like, that's the sensation I had in my arm. So that has resolved itself. I don't feel that anymore. The second symptom, which I wasn't sure if it was attributed to the Stims or not, and I found out that yes, it definitely was attributed to the Stims, and that was fatigue. So like that and one other one that I'll tell you about is really the most prevalent that I've felt this entire process. So with the fatigue, yes, like several days I would be up for a while, and then I would just have like this extreme tiredness. Like, I feel like if I had to, a scale of like 0 to 10 as far as rating my energy level was definitely like at about a 2. I was sleeping a whole lot. I just did not, I was sending husband to pick up dinners because I didn't feel like cooking. Like I just had no energy. So that was definitely next. Then there was, I believe when I started taking the ganirelix, like when I took that, I would just instantly get a headache, and I had a headache for like a day and a half. I had messaged the portal to ask them what was safe to take. They told me Tylenol only, so I'm not a medical professional or anything like that, but you know, if you're going through the process and you're experiencing you know, headache, then that's definitely something that you may want to ask your provider if it's okay to take just Tylenol. Then after that, let's see, so arm pain, fatigue, headache. Okay, so this is the worst one, the absolute worst. Like I can't stress it enough. My breast hurt, like they're so sore and tender, breast, nipple, all of it. It's just like, I don't even want to exaggerate. Like it hurts so bad. Like if I'm out, like as soon as I get home, I'm like having to take my bra off because I'm like that my breasts grow. But they're just really sore. Like if I'm taking a shower, I'm kind of like trying to shield myself because even the water, like, I don't know, just breast tenderness, definitely. I still feel it right now to this day. Don't know what can be done about that. I know I saw that it was a symptom of some of the medications that I was taking. So, you know, if you're going through the process, I just hope and pray that that side effect skips over you because it's not fun at all. And if I look down, I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything, but okay. So bloating, I felt very mild bloating, and I would watch some videos and I would hear some women say like every time I walked I could feel my ovaries and everything like that. Mine wasn't, to be honest, and this is probably TMI, I really didn't feel it extreme until I had to, like, unless I was trying to pass a bowel movement in a restroom, then I could really feel like that heaviness, like that feeling that was very kind of uncomfortable. Still experiencing that to this day. So the bloating, it wasn't necessarily like an all-day thing. It wasn't a you know, it wasn't extreme, but at certain times, which I just kind of discussed with you, that's when I felt it. Now, some of the things that I did not experience that I did notice a lot of other people say that they were experiencing, like the injection site. So I think I saw one small bruise one day, but I didn't really have any issues with the injection sites. I didn't feel any extreme soreness, tenderness, bruising. Like I said, I saw one bruise once, but I didn't even, it wasn't like tender to touch or anything like that. So that's one. And like I think I mentioned in my last video, so everybody's bodies is going to feel the effects differently. So, you know, it's just, it is what it is, but I didn't really have any issues with the injection sites. I will say, other than the bruise, one day after I did an injection, I felt itchy in that area for like maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then it went away. So, but that was just one time. But I you know, no soreness, tenderness there at the injection site. As far as like being hormonal, like I know a lot of people say that they're like extremely hormonal. I remember I talked to one of the ladies at the facility, and she's like, one day I actually cried myself to sleep because I was just, you know, hormonal. Nothing was wrong with me. Like, I didn't have any of that. I never felt like super sad, super emotional, just crying out the blue for no reason. That just passed over me. I didn't have that. So I'm trying to think of, is there anything else that I would hear other people say? That's all I can think of. So that's the update on, I told you all that I would update you on the side effects that I've experienced. Since I've been taking my Stims, and those are the side effects that got a hold of me. So that's that. Y'all, this tea is giving me life right now. So good. Okay, so part one was side effects of Stims. So my part 2, I am going to be giving you an update on my ultrasound. So just a recap on my first ultrasound, I had one 10 millimeter, one 11 millimeter, 4 12 millimeters, and 2 13 millimeters. So they were measuring 8 lead follicles. So then ultrasound 2. Good morning. I am walking up to the center so that I can have my ultrasound and labs today. So it's looking a little gloomy today. Anyway, I'll keep you all posted once I know some results. Wish me luck for good results. Wish me some good vibes. You'll have a great day. Bye. I had one 13 millimeter, 2 14 millimeters, 3 15 millimeters, and 2 17 millimeters. So still 8 lead that they were measuring. And after the second ultrasound, I messaged her in the portal. I'm like, okay, what is the optimal size that you were looking for them to get to? And what she responded was, we will have you do the trigger shot when we have 3 or more that is greater than a size than 17 millimeters. So at this point, for ultrasound 2, I have 2 that are 17 millimeters. So I'm like, you know, they were like, you're getting close. So I'm like, yeah, definitely getting there. And then I went for ultrasound 3. So ultrasound 3 was actually on a Sunday, and I was shocked. I'm like, I didn't even know y'all scheduled people on Sundays, that the facility was even open on Sunday, but I guess it's by appointment only, which, I mean, they're all appointment only, but you get what I'm saying. Like, most doctors' offices, you don't hear about being open, period, unless it's like an urgent care or a hospital on a Sunday. So my appointment was Sunday at 9:00 a.m. So I went for my ultrasound and lab work. At that point, we did that. Husband was actually able to go to that one because it was on a Sunday. So after that, we left. We went to brunch, this place called Ruby Sunshine, which usually has pretty good food. Sunday, I felt like they were slipping a little bit, but anyway, that's besides the point. So while we were there, I got a message in the portal with my results. So for this one, there were 2 measuring 15 millimeters, 1 measuring 16 millimeters, 1 measuring 18 millimeters, 2 measuring 19 millimeters, 2 measuring 20 millimeters, and 1 overachiever measuring 21 millimeters. So I'm like, And I'm thinking back to the last ultrasound, and she's like, when you have more than 2 that's over the 17, then we'll have you do your trigger shot. So at this point, instead of the 8 leaf follicles that they had been telling me about, now there's 9, and of the 9, there's 6 that's measuring more than 17 millimeters. So I'm like, okay, they're probably gonna have me trigger on Monday, because when they get back and see everything. But no, then they said, we're gonna have you trigger tonight at 8:30. This was another medicine that I had not taken called Lupron, that's been in the refrigerator. I actually got this one delivered just a couple of days ago, because that's the last one that I was kind of having issues with through the pharmacy, the special pharmacy that I had been going through. So I got that one. I'll insert a little short clip here of me getting that one and unboxing it. So I'll do that now. Okay, yeah, so she's like, okay, we need you to trigger tonight at 8:30. So my Gonal F and my Menopur, those are the ones that I have been taking about 12 hours apart, around 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. So she was like, that one, those 2, make sure you take those before 6 o'clock p.m. and then take the Lupron trigger shot at 8:30. So I'm like, okay. And this day too, like with the fatigue, I was like, just like once we got back, like I just didn't have any energy. I went to bed, like I was just sleeping like throughout the whole day. I think husband had to end up waking me up for the shot. So, and he did the mixing like he always does. Like he's been so great about that. But anyway, oh, and I'll shoot in a clip too. I'll tell you in a second. So anyway, he actually administered the shot to me at 8:30 that night, and then they told me in the portal too to follow up with the facility for labs only, because I was scheduled to go back Monday for, I think, labs and ultrasound anyway, but they told me to return on Monday for labs only. So I'll clip in a little blurb about that. Good morning. Today is Monday and I am leaving my lab work appointment. I had to come and get my blood work. No ultrasound today, and I have to wait on the results through the portal. So I can be notified if I'll have to take more Lupron, which is my trigger shot, or if I'm done with the Stims and the injections. So I'll let you all know. Have a great day. Okay, so I'm sorry, y'all, this tea is so comforting. So after I left that appointment on Sunday just for my labs, later on that evening I got an update through the portal, and they're like, your blood work looks great. We're gonna go ahead and do your egg retrieval on Tuesday, it was originally scheduled for Wednesday. So like husband was kind of not upset about it, but like he had already, you know, got time off work so that he could be off on Wednesday, because you have to have your partner, spouse there with you, or somebody that can at least you know, drive you home, because for the egg retrieval, my facility, they had me under anesthesia, and they didn't want me driving home. So, and then, but on top of that, husband had to, you know, give his donation, do his part. So that happened, and so we're just like, oh, like this is happening tomorrow. And just to back up a little, the trigger shot, that one wasn't painful for me. Like most of the time my husband, he's only given me 2 shots, I think, and I don't know if it's just a sense of calm, like because husband's doing it, or if it's just, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but I just do know that the 2 shots that he gave me during this process, like they weren't painful. Go figure. So anyway, so yeah, that happened, and then dun dun dun. So today is Wednesday. Yesterday, Tuesday, I had to be at the facility at 7:30 a.m. and I tried to gauge for traffic because traffic can be really crazy. So I think we left the house like maybe I don't know, I think it was like right before, like maybe 6:55 or something like that. But traffic was so bad, we did not end up getting there until like 8:10, and I'm freaking out the whole time. I'm kind of upset at husband because I'm like, why didn't you tell me that, you know, I didn't gauge the time right, that we should have left earlier? Like, you know, I hate being late, and I think I may have been, there was probably a little bit of nervousness mixed in with that. So, and then I think he tried to get off the interstate to take the streetway a little bit, but thinking that maybe that would cut down some time and like cut down some of my anxiety and frustration that I was having. But then it ended up like adding an additional 10 minutes. So initially it was saying if we were on the, when we were on the interstate, because I had the GPS on, it was saying we'll get there at 8 o'clock. But then when he did his little detour, we ended up getting there at like 8:10. But it was okay. Like everybody was like super nice. I apologized. They were like, it's okay. So this is the egg retrieval part. So part, what is this, 3, 4, and my experience. So basically I got there, they're like, hey friend, come on back, we're gonna get you changed. Well, first I had to do my lab, so I had to do blood work, and it was somebody new. The person, like, I felt like they butchered my arm. Like, can y'all see that? It's like from here all the way down to there. Like, what did you do? What were you doing? Can y'all, I don't know if you can see it good, but yeah, all of this, they butchered my arm. So anyway, I got my lab work done. Then they took me to a little changing, well, I'll just say I went in the bathroom. They were like, get undressed fully. There was a gown in there. There was the little, I don't know, little booty things that you put over your socks if you want, or you could have wore them barefooted, you know, over your bare feet. And then there was a cap to enclose your hair. And then they were like, you know, make sure that you empty your bladder beforehand. So I did all of that. Then they took me to a room because I had like a little locker. So they let me put all my belongings in the locker. So then the lady that had came and got me, she came and she asked me, have you had an egg retrieval before? I'm like, no. So then she like gave me like a brief synopsis of how it was gonna go. We're gonna, you know, put this in, do this, vacuum it out, blah, blah, blah. So I got that. I had to sign a couple of pieces of paper. Then I went in another room, and the person that was administering the anesthesia came in, and he was like super nice, being like jovial and just joking around with me and stuff like that. And asking me if I'd ever been under anesthesia before, and I'm like, yeah, once when I had an appendectomy, or when I had my appendix removed, I was under anesthesia, and I think that's the only time. So he's like, well, this is going to be a little bit different. It'll kind of be like you're, you know, you'll be taking a deep nap or something like that. So he went over his procedures, you know, worst case scenario factors that they have to go over with you. And then he was like, yeah, so we'll wait for the doctor to come in. When the doctor comes in, then we'll go ahead and, you know, start you on the anesthesia. So I think one other person came in. Oh, the embryologist came in. She introduced herself. I had to sign some paperwork from her. She just wanted to confirm that, you know, after the retrieval, they were gonna do a count. And then she wanted to confirm that we were doing ICSI, and then also that we were doing genetic testing. So I confirmed all of the above. And then there was one other person that came in, and she was, I can't remember. I think she may have asked some questions too. So then the doctor came in, and he was like, you know, say hi, you know, we're doing your egg retrieval today. And I'm like, yeah. And so he kind of, I don't really remember what our full conversation was, but I remember him asking me if I had any questions, and I'm like, no, I don't have any questions. And by this point, I'm guessing that they had started to administer the anesthesia in me, because I remember like feeling like, I feel like my heart is starting to beat fast, and I'm thinking to myself, like, should I say something? Like, am I having a heart attack or something? Like, my heart is beating fast. And then I remember looking up at the ceiling and feeling like the walls were moving a little bit. The next thing I know, I don't remember anything until I heard them calling my name, like, Ashley, to wake me up, like, and it was over with. So I don't know. I think I asked my husband how long was I back there, and I think he said like a little over an hour, but I don't know how long the actual procedure was. I just remember they woke me up, and I was asking questions. Like, I was like, was I snoring? And they were like, no, you didn't snore. And then I was like, did husband give his donation? And it was like, yes, husband gave his donation. And they were asking me like, what are my pain level, like on a scale of like 1 to 10, what do you feel as far as pain? And I think I said 4, and it was just like, okay. And then she ended up giving me a shot, I think in my shoulder, for the pain, that she said would help with that, especially like on the ride home. And they were just, I just remember them saying like, you did really well. This went way better than we anticipated. And next thing I know, you know, they came in and out the room a couple of times. They were asking me if, what did they ask me? She asked me if I felt like I could get up and walk around a little bit, and I'm like, yes. But they had a wheelchair there that she put me in, and she rolled me to the initial room that I was in, and I put back on my clothes and stuff, and then she rolled me out to to my husband's car. They had called him and told him that he could bring the car around. So they rolled me out to him, and I got in the car, and then we were on our way. So when we got in the car, because I wasn't even thinking like about like how many follicles, eggs, whatever, like I hadn't even thought about that. But apparently in the meantime, the doctor that did my surgery had called husband, and they were like, yeah, we were able to retrieve 16 eggs. And I'm like, 16? Like, this whole time I had kind of been stressing out like, oh, I only have 8 or 9, and I just wish I had more. But you know, and he would try to encourage me like, well, you know, we only need 1. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but you know, you hear so many stories, and like people who are, you know, getting 30, you know, 20, 30, 20s, 30s, like, and I'm just like, they've only been telling me about 8, and like the last ultrasound I had 9, so I'm glad for the extra 1, but they ended up getting 16 eggs. So I was just elated. I was over the moon. I was super happy that I wasn't in any extreme pain. Like, to be honest, like, yes, the injections themselves, and I know you've seen, if you haven't seen footage of me taking shots, like I have a couple of other videos where you can see that process. But like, aside from that and some of the pain and uncomfortableness that is associated with me taking the shots and the fatigue and the breast tenderness, I haven't really had like, I mean, I've heard stories and I've just, I'm not gonna say that, I mean, it's definitely been a journey, but for the most part, I feel like I've kind of been coasting through this process a little bit. It just seems like it took so long to get here, and I'll probably do a backstory here soon, a video on that whole backstory and how we got to the part where we needed to do IVF. But it's just like, I think that's probably estimated like a 2-year time frame, and it's like, now that everything is here, it's just happening so quickly. And I mean, I'm just, it feels a little bit like not, I'm not thinking of the right, I can't think of the right word, because it's not overwhelming. It's like, if I could think of a good word for overwhelming, like it just feels like our blessing is like right around the corner. So this is the last part, because I know I've talked a lot in this video. So this is the last part. So they did tell me, oh, the embryologist, she told me that my retrieval was considered day 0. She said day 1, I'll get a call from them and they will tell me about the eggs that were retrieved, the process on those. And then I'll get another update on Monday. So mind you, my surgery was on Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. And I'll get another update on Monday after they've, I guess, gone through that blastocyst phase. So basically, the Stims that you're taking, or the injections, they are to, and this is just my understanding, I could be butchering this, but this is my understanding from the research that I've done and what I've been told. So you take the injections are supposed to stimulate the follicles to try to promote growth of the eggs that are in the follicles, if there are eggs in the follicles. So they, when the procedure happens, they take the follicles, and not all of them will have eggs sometimes. Sometimes they have eggs, but they're not mature eggs. The mature eggs is what they need in order to attempt to fertilize them with the sperm to either do a fresh transfer, if you're doing a fresh transfer, so they wait for them to get to like day 5. So the ones that I guess survive, for lack of a better words, to day 5, those have a good chance of being the ones that they can actually implant in you during the second part of the process, which is the embryo transfer. So the part of the process that I have gone through at this point is egg retrieval, where they get, you know, the eggs. So anyway, like I said, what I knew at this point is we got 16 follicles or eggs. Not sure at this point when I left the surgery center how many were mature or any other information. So I got a call from the embryologist today, and she said that, and to be honest, I don't think I've watched a lot of like stories, because I don't know, I just, like I said, for me, it gives me comfort to know other people going through this process. It's not just me going through this process alone. I like to have a wide range of like knowing like what could happen, what could not happen, like different outcomes. Like, to me, that's what gives me comfort. That's one of the reasons that you know, one of the main reasons that I've even started this channel, and especially like extra credit for, you know, women that are journeying their process that look like me. And like, when I say that, I mean like, you know, a Black woman. So, but again, like I said, I watch everybody, you know, no matter what ethnicity, background, whatever. I've seen it all, so I feel like I can't recall ever hearing a story out of the ones that I've watched, and it could just be, you know, bad recollection, but I honestly cannot recall anybody getting the news that I got today, which is out of the 16 eggs that were retrieved from me, all 16 were mature, like all of them. So I'm just like, wow, like God is really doing a thing. Like, he really is like showing up and showing out. So basically she told me that all 16 were mature. So they attempted to fertilize all 16 with my husband's sperm. But out of the 16, 9 fertilized. And I'm happy about that number because, you know, like I said, initially I was thinking like, oh, I'm only gonna get 8 or 9, and I'm thinking in my head like, out of the 8 or 9 that I get, you know, maybe only half of these will even, you know, potentially fertilize. But no, like God is like, he's so amazing because and like I was like on that, and I remember like when I was dozing off from the anesthesia, I was just like praying like, please God, like let this process go smoothly, like bless the doctors, bless everybody involved, like allow my body to do what it needs to do, like, you know, just me just pouring out my heart, like praying like about this whole process. So anyway, that's where we are. I have 9 fertilized eggs. Now, again, like I said, they have to monitor them until they get to day 5. When they get to day 5, that's when they'll know like, okay, these are the ones that grew, you know, the cells continually, and that will be, you know, potential good ones. But then we're going a step further. So once we get to step 5 and we know what those are, once we get to step 5 and we know what those look like at the blastocyst phase, then I think at that point, and this is what I have to go back and ask or either research, because I don't know if that's when they're at day 5, I think that's when they go for the genetic testing. And we did pay to have the genetic testing. What that does is just like try to make sure that there's nothing chromosomally wrong, issues with the embryos, and then try to rule out like, I think, Down syndrome and things of that nature. So I have to wait until Monday. She said she would call me on Monday and give me an update on that. So again, today's Wednesday, and that's a long time to be waiting and figuring out what's going on. I see, you know, a lot of people that they're other journeys that I've watched, like they get updates like every other day or something like that. But you know, it is what it is. Like, we'll just be fervent. how do you say it, fervently praying in the meantime. And if you've made it to this part of the video, I just ask that you like, comment, subscribe. I definitely appreciate you coming on a journey with me. If you're currently going through the IVF process, if you are, you know, thinking about or researching, you know, going through the IVF process, if you've been through the IVF process, if you have any tips for me, if you have any questions for me that I may be able to answer for you, if you just want to send some good vibes my way, just like the video, and stay tuned because I'm definitely gonna be posting more updates and, you know, keep you along on this journey with me. So all right, talk to you later. Bye.